Yes. Student trustee Hawk. President Almendros.
Present.
Vice President Fernandez. Chief of Staff Basta.
Present.
Speaker of the House Joe. Present. Treasurer Cabales.
Present.
Graphic designer Casillas. Present. Web administrator Suarez.
Present.
Director Haybelly. Present. Director Assad.
Present.
Director Ramakrishnan. Present. Director Gupta. Present. Representative Youssef. Representative Omar. Representative Mata.
Present.
Representative Ahmed.
Present.
Yeah. Representative Cruz. Representative Narang. Representative Somik. Representative Kanan. Representative Sharma. Representative Sands. Representative Satterfield. Representative Robacher.
Present.
Representative Matakulam. Representative Rivera. Representative Goman. Representative Patel. Representative Pablo. Representative Santana. Representative Dixit. Representative Lopez. Representative Thumu. Representative Desgupta. Representative Klimek. Representative Shakir. Representative Rodriguez. Representative Fonseca. Representative Ali. Representative Flores. Representative Shukla. Representative Rothenbaum. Representative Tinfang. Representative Amina. Representative Patel. Yaksh Patel. Thank you.
Thank you. The next order of business is reading and approval of the minutes. Please take this time to read over the minutes. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Yes.
I would like to change the header to say meeting 5 instead of meeting 1. And I have another one. Do you want me to say that? Okay, I would like to change under student trustee Hawk's report, instead of saying not speaking on behalf of that section, instead to say do not speak for UIC, the University of Illinois System, nor the University of Illinois System's Board of Trustees.
There's been a motion to reflect the listed changes in the meeting minutes. Is there a second? All those in favor, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. Does anyone abstain? If not, then the meeting minutes have, the motion has been approved. Are there any other corrections to the minutes? If not, then the minutes will stand as approved. The next order of business is reading and approval of the agenda. Please take this time to read over the agenda. Are there any corrections to the agenda? If not, then the agenda will stand as approved. The next order of business is public comment. Is there any public comment? If not, we'll move on to our next order of business, which is guest speakers. First, we have Vice Chancellor Rob Dixon. President Matthew, would you please introduce him for us?
Thank you. So today we have a very special guest. We have Rob Dixon, who serves as the Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs. So he is in charge of anything that is related to student affairs. I'll let Vice Chancellor Dixon provide an introduction.
You can come to the podium.
Oh.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having me tonight. Appreciate the chance to introduce myself to this group. I've met a number of the members who are in leadership, and appreciate the chance to meet a wider audience. I have been asked to serve as the interim Vice Chancellor and Vice Provost for Student Affairs. And I've been in this role for some time now. I began in October of 22. And just thought I'd give you a little idea of where I come from, like why did they pick this guy to come in here? Some of you may have worked with Rex Tolliver, who was in this role previously. I had most recently been overseeing enrollment management, so recruiting, admissions, and outreach. And worked very closely with student affairs in a number of areas. Prior to that, I served as the registrar for close to 20 years. In that time frame, though, the registrar role really evolved. It became kind of a larger operation during the time I was there. Let me check with the council. How much time did you anticipate me being at the podium? I don't want to delay dinner or anything like that.
A minute.
Okay. Because I'll narrow down my comments. It was an hour and a half. And I was really pleased to take on this role. It allowed me to work with people more in depth who I'd worked with for years, coordinating services through the registrar. You know, when you're the registrar, you're kind of like the center hub of the wheel. Everybody comes through you at some point for some aspect of the student experience, getting things set up, modified, new course offerings. And I worked very closely with the Dean of Students, for instance, on a number of issues. So knew all the people, and it was really it's been a great opportunity for me to learn a lot more about university operations. And in that time, I thought I would just provide a few updates of some things that I've worked on with members of student government and the student trustee. Shortly after starting this role, I was very impressed with the energy and efforts of Mohammed Haq, who many of you may know. He was interested in trying to provide some benefits for students who take the metro to campus. We've had CTA UPass for many years. And I think that his efforts, he did some outreach to Metro. Many people have tried to bridge that gap with Metro, and it's been challenging. But the circumstances, the stars were kind of aligning. Metro had recently gone into Ventura. Who here takes the Metro at all, or any frequency? All right, so maybe a third to close to half. I take the Metro fairly often. And so the move into Ventura was relatively new. So they were more open to working with us to try to get people identified who had opted in to the UPass. If someone had opted into the UPass, they are amenable, and we're in discussions with them now to offer some ridership at a deep discount for students for those who've opted in to the CTA UPass. So there's sort of a connection with that. That's kind of where the discussions are right now. But just want to credit, you know, a UIC student who really cared, who walked into the room, who kind of got that moving a little bit. And I think that all of you can have that same effect in working with administrators or sharing ideas. We're definitely open to how things can improve. And on that note, I wanted to give a little bit of an update on what plans are for the Student Center East in particular, but student unions overall. Some years ago, the general fee through the student fee committee was increased to support and improve the student experience overall. And what was envisioned at that time was the Ignite Center. It was following along kind of the same path that brought the ARC into place, trying to leverage funds with a public-private partnership. And things are moving in that direction. The ARC had been completed. The pandemic hit, you know, March 2020. I'm sure we're all painfully aware. And things stalled. The university changed direction, was kind of in an emergency management mode. And when attention was returned back to that, about how these funds could be used to support students, the world had really changed quite a bit. The cost estimates for new construction were much higher. Interest rates were rising. And so at present, we are engaging with some of the same people who designed and put forward ideas for the Ignite Center to see about what we can do now, how we can leverage the spaces we have here. We need to do a real survey of the utilities that are in place on the east side of campus as to where construction can occur. That kind of thorough analysis was not done at that time. So we're investing for a new study to also do a complete engineering study of this building to see how spaces can be used in a different way. For instance, in the tower here, you know, there are certain administrative offices that are contained here that perhaps could be placed elsewhere on campus, farther away from the locus of student activity. They have more student facing or student space in the tower. Another change that's occurred is in the lower level of this building. there used to be a large operation by the Illinois Tollway for customer service operation, and that space has moved out. So we want to envision how could that space be used for students? So we're kicking that off with a tight timeline to try to get ideas back from this group by March. You know, part of the delay is, you know, I'm coming to get, you know, UIC procurement and engineering time. There needs to be a very thorough engineering study of this building to see what can be opened up effectively, and integrate that with other repairs that are needed to roofing structures, looking at the facade, how that can be maintained more easily and better. So an update in that regard, we're kind of restarting that. Also wanted to share some other input that's come from student government and other students. We recently have a request for purchase with a dining partner. And presently we're working with Chartwells as our dining partner, and that contract period ended. And we now have put forth another, what's called RFP, request purchase. And it opened up on October 1st. We had very strong interest from multiple vendors in that field to get competitive bids, which we're excited. The time frame in which the bids would be returned is the end of November. We do have representatives from student government who are on the evaluation committee, and we've received quite a lot of input. You know, I did during my time to realize there was concerns about how students might be able to use donations, to swipe donations for other students. We want to put some of that technology in place. And also dietary concerns, religious observances like halal food, and then bring a focus to that. So stay tuned on that development. And I don't normally, there's just some of me as a person, I like to bike a lot. I'm biking to work, so I don't normally bike this morning. I'm like, I got a meeting after work, but I decided I'm just gonna wear my bike clothes because I need to depart on my bike. And I also like to play a little basketball. And so on Wednesday, at 4 o'clock, if anyone's interested, it's me shoot around with the vice chancellor, student affairs, 4 o'clock over in the rec center, right across the street. And I've learned that several of your representatives can play some basketball. The toy being one of them. Mohammed played, Matthew. So if anyone wants to join me informally and shoot around, or you know, you'd be very welcome. I think that's largely it. I took some notes and make sure I'm not skipping anything. One aspect, by the way, of the Student Center East and focus is we will have student focus groups and want to hear from student government. So there'll be very adequate input and review along the stages, so we can fine tune. We want to do this with most students. Any questions? Are you good?
Are there any questions for the guest speaker? Yes, great.
I was wondering, you look at what could be or needs to be updated in this building, if there will be any updates with the elevators in the part of the building. They are very small and very slow. Just wondered if that's involved at all.
So it's sort of like the elevators are going up to the student organization offices and those, yeah. They need an update. I mean, part of the discussion, the initial discussions we've had with the architects was trying to create space where the student organizations would be more evident to those who are coming in and out of the building. There's, you know, for instance, if you wouldn't know that UIC radio is located with something unless you were very familiar with those things, or any of the student organization offices. So, I mean, one thing I've expressed is how could that activity be more evident and more accessible to students? The elevators are, I'm taking that back. You're right, I've been in those elevators.
Any other questions? Oh, yes.
I wonder, do USG members play basketball too?
You know, some are better than others, but they all were, it was a respectable outing. So everyone contributed, everyone scored. Great. Scored more than others.
Any other questions?
Yeah, maybe, for the new representatives here, can you explain what, the vice chancellor for student affairs, like what offices or departments you oversee?
Sure. Good point. I can kind of, so student affairs, that role has really been expanded slightly during the time when I assumed this, but the title is vice chancellor and vice provost for students. So the typical vice chancellor functions include oversight of the dean of students, student engagement, housing, dining, the student unions, so they're called campus auxiliaries. The student affairs functions include the student success and belonging units like AAAN, Mars, Native American Support Program, and several others. It also includes advising development, which is a relatively small group that seeks to provide centralized resources for advising tools like iAdvise, as well as training for advisors. So those are the areas I oversee. I'm also working in some ways presently kind of helping with the current acting registrar.
Any other questions?
Thanks for all the work you guys do, and I look forward to getting to know more of you better.
Thank you for joining us today. With that, we will move on to our next order of business, which is old business. First, we have resolution 2023 F5 2000, and we have Vice President.
Yeah, so this resolution reads, supporting the adoption of the Okanagan Charter at UIC. Whereas the undergraduate student government serves the needs of the student body, is committed to advocating for mental health and wellness resources and support on campus. And whereas UIC should continue to work towards cultivating an environment and culture of wellness. And whereas in recent meetings with Dr. Rafael de Flores Cavalier, Assistant Vice Chancellor for Student Health and Wellness, the Okanagan Charter has been discussed as benefits for students nationwide has been established. And whereas the Okanagan Charter is an international charter for health promoting universities and colleges that put the wellness of students at the forefront of all university matters. And whereas the purpose of the Okanagan Charter is to guide and inspire actions by providing a framework that reflects the latest concepts, processes, and principles relevant to health promoting universities and colleges movement, generate dialogue and research that expands local, regional, national, international networks, and accelerates action on and off and between campuses. Mobilize international cross-sector action for the integration of health in all policies and practices, thus advancing the development of health promoting universities and colleges. And whereas many colleges around the U.S. have adopted the Okanagan Charter, such as UC Berkeley, Southern Illinois University, University of Michigan, Cornell University, and our peer institution, Kansas State University. And whereas the undergraduate student government supports the mission to promote health and well-being across all facets of the university life. Some be resolved, undergrad student government will support the adoption of the Okanagan Charter at UIC and will endorse UIC to become a signatory of the Okanagan Charter. But be further resolved, USG will communicate with the administrator and campus to advocate for support of the.
Thank you. I will now open the floor for questions. Reminder, we will be voting on this tonight.
Yeah, just from the two questions that were asked, I just want to give responses from Dr. Someone asked a question about the how does the Okanagan Charter look out for the well-being of minority students? Dr. Raphael responded, the Okanagan Charter for Health University Colleges prioritizes systems and settings-based approach, emphasizes deep collaboration and community stakeholder engagement, and advances a fluid approach to enhancing well-being. This end is with many health issues. There's an emphasis on examining health disparities that disproportionately impact historically and persistently marginalized student communities, and working to influence the socio-contextual judgment of undergraduate disparities. And he goes on to explain a little bit more. And just basically when they do conduct population level needs assessment, they always make sure they're partnering with marginalized community leaders and addressing social contextual factors to address any potential disparities. And then the second one about examples of like change made after adopting the Okanagan Charter. Obviously the framework, how they approach things, like broadly, he didn't have like a ton of like specific if then, but he said that Columbia used the framework of the Okanagan Charter to help redefine like medical leave of absence at Columbia, so to better support students. Obviously this is to like support well-beingness and health of students, so like revising the medical leave of absences with a direct like leverage of the Okanagan Charter. So hopefully that answers the question.
If not, we'll move forward with voting. All those in favor of adopting resolution 2023 F5-2000, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. Does anyone abstain? If not, then resolution 2023 F5-2000 is passed. Next, we have resolution 2023 F5-3002. Could we have a chief sponsor read this draft? Katie?
Okay, so the civic engagement and workforce campaign, whereas the undergraduate student government is dedicated to promoting civic engagement and empowering students to vote in all elections, as well as serving students in fortifying relationships among university programs that will empower student voices. And whereas many students cite the complicated processes and inaccessible information about deadlines and registration as obstacles that inhibit them from casting and understanding their ballot, and whereas there are current and historical inequities in voter education leading to our democracy not being inclusive, and whereas voter turnout for college-aged individuals has been historically low, as seen in the latest Chicago mayoral election of February 2023, the age group 18 to 24 had the lowest voter turnout at only 3%, or 18,175 ballots casted. And whereas the University of Illinois at Chicago is an institution that prides itself on diversity of its student body, and it is the responsibility of the undergraduate student government to ensure that every student has the necessary information on how to register to vote and cast a ballot. And whereas the first year reading program houses required courses English 160 and English 161 that all University of Illinois at Chicago students must take, and therefore would be the program that has the most outreach to students, then let it be resolved that the undergraduate student government will work in conjunction with the student leadership and civic engagement department to create a short campaign on informing students on how to vote, educating them on civic engagement through nonpartisan means. That it be further resolved that the campaign will graduate students through a first-year writing program, English 160 and 161, and the data collected will be reviewed and improved upon by the undergraduate student government and the student leadership and civic engagement department. That it be further resolved the undergraduate student government and the student leadership and civic engagement department will analyze the number of students who register to vote, those who clicked on the link to get educated to vote, and those who looked over ways to empower their voices in order to continue to improve this pilot civic engagement program.
Thank you. I will now flip the floor for questions. As a reminder, we will be voting on this tonight as well. Are there any questions or comments regarding this resolution? If not, we'll move forward with voting. All those in favor of adopting resolution 2023 F5-3002, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. Does anyone abstain? If not, then resolution 2023 F5-3002 has passed. With that, we'll move on with our next order of business, which is new business. First, we have resolution 2023 F6-1002. We have a chief sponsor read this one.
Absolutely.
I think it might just be on. Yeah.
Resolution 2023 F6-1002, connecting to the event act. The chief sponsors are myself, Representative Rollbacher, along with Representative Twain, Representative Sharma, Representative Amina, Representative Yusa, Director Gupta, President Almendra, and Treasurer Kabbalah. Whereas the undergraduate student government, USC, in following its tenet of service, fosters student engagement, collaboration, and leadership within itself and across campus, and whereas we contract with student government to engage student leadership across campus, planning partnering with various student organizations, their goals and visions, and whereas the undergraduate student government has previously held events that were connected to student leaders. Our resolution 2021 at 10-602, resolution 2022 at 661, which accomplished the following goals above, and let it be resolved that the undergraduate student government will organize an event titled Connected Student Leaders for Leadership of student organizations and networking, discussing shared interests and experiences, and collaborating with future endeavors and while growing skills in leadership. And to be further resolved, that the undergraduate student government will allocate $3,000 for catering services and other expenses at Hawkeye Bar and Grill, 1458 West Taylor Street, Chicago, Illinois, 60607 on Thursday, November 9, 2023 for this event. It is further resolved that any unspent funds shall be returned to the.
Thank you. I will now open the floor for questions. Are there any questions or comments regarding this resolution? Remember, we will be voting on this next week. Yes, Ms. Wood?
The personal question, did you attend it last week?
I did.
You did, how was it?
So the event, for those who are unfamiliar, it is essentially a bunch of leaders from various student organizations getting together to kind of discuss and set a resolution. What it takes to be a leader at USC and college students, and collaborate with other student leaders on future events to benefit our students here at USC. It's a very informal event, it's a lot of fun, there's food, there's games, activities, right, it's at the bar, and it's low stakes, right? But again, it's really just bringing out leaders to the community and talk about what it means.
Yes, yeah.
Do you know the organization for this site?
So it will go out to all organizations who are formally registered here at UIC. And of course, it links up so many people. Gonna be 2 max per organization, so it'll be our first come, first served basis.
Yes, like,
Did it fill up last year, or like, what was the, like?
Yeah.
Like the sign up?
I don't know the exact,
Yeah.
but it was very kind of well.
yes, I
Like you mentioned, it's hard to come to all leaders, other plan include like
Again, it'll be open registration for all organizations who are registered with the university, so it is on a first come, first served basis, based on who RTP who's allowed it.
and are the invitations only to president or are they allowed to send the other members of the?
So it'll be open to e-board, right? But if they want to send it to somebody else, maybe not e-board, first have to get the confidence that it's allowed as well.
How many representatives per organization?
could you please raise your hand if you have another comment?
Oh, yeah, how one more question, sorry about.
Go ahead.
How many representatives per organization?
I think
Are there any other questions? Yes, Laura.
So last year, it was our e-board, our directors, and then of course our committee.
Yes,
What are the RSVPs sent out?
As soon as it gets approved.
do you have a date that you're looking at for the event?
Yes, November.
Is it on the resolution? Oh, sorry, my bad. Any other questions or comments? Yes, good.
So it probably takes a few weeks notice for Hawkeye to prepare the space. I'm just curious, have you reached out to Hawkeye, anybody from the committee? Or relevant?
Yeah, I have. I've been communicating with Hawkeye, and emailing them back and forth, all this about this main event, expected attendees, our allocation of food, so everything looks like it's to be.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Yes, I'm.
Because the event is not, happening at USC, it's happening off campus, so it is any sort of introduction community members or assist technology, something like that. There's the with the accountability.
I don't know, but I think, everyone's gonna act in good faith. It is a bar, right? But, again, we're here, as representatives of student government, so we're all expected to be on our best behavior and represent this body to the best of our ability.
Yes,
Yeah, I'd like to add on that even though it is at a bar, we are not purchasing alcohol through USD funds, so we cannot be accountable for this type of act.
any other questions or comments? If not, we will be voting on this resolution next week. Next, we have resolution 2023 F6-1003. Could we have a chief sponsor read this for us?
I'll be reading.
Okay.
Resolution 2023 F6-1003, chief sponsors Representative Dixon, Representative Kudu Diapu, Representative Cruz, Representative Shakir, Representative Selman, Representative Fonseca, and myself. Co-sponsors were Secretary Patino, Treasurer Cabayas, Speaker of the House, Joe, Chief of Staff Basta, and President Almendras. Whereas the undergraduate student government cares for the academic success of students and gives importance to providing opportunities for their career readiness, and whereas this can be achieved by collaborating with the USC Career Development Departments, and whereas the Student Success Committee will be hosting a USG Coffee, Cocoa, Cookies, and Career event in collaboration with the LAS Department of Internships and Career Development on Friday, November 17th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Then let it be resolved that USG will allocate $80 for the following services and any other needed supplies. One projector and screen, one microphone. Let it be further resolved that USG will allocate $90 for the following beverages from USC Catering, 3 gallons of coffee, 3 gallons of hot chocolate, 2 gallons of hot water, and assorted teas. Let it be further resolved that USG will allocate $200 for the following cookies, Oreos, Golden Oreos, Chips Ahoy, Nutter Butter, Grandma's Cookies, other Chips Ahoy. Let it be further resolved that USG will allocate $75 for the promotion and printing of 100 bingo cards for the event from Staples. Let it be further resolved that USG will allocate a total of $450 for the cost of the USG coffee, cocoa, cookies, and career event. Let it be further resolved that any unused funds will be returned to the USG budget.
Thank you. I will now open the floor for discussion. Are there any questions or comments regarding this resolution? Okay, do any chief sponsors want to talk about how the event was held in the past, their experiences?
Hello. So yeah, this event is an event that was started 2 years ago, with the Student Success Committee. And basically what this event is just, again, as the resolution mentioned, to bring various career development departments together for students to kind of just walk in and casually meet these department heads. And it's been massively successful the past 2 years. First year it was done in 2021, I believe, fall 2021. Had great amount of attendance, and then last year, fall 2022, it had even more attendees. So given that this is our third time around organizing this, I'm excited to see how many students can attend this event and enjoy it. And you might notice like kind of the coffee, cocoa, cookies, and career. We really wanted to make this memorable for students. That's why we associate kind of different cookie for each department. And obviously there's only 4 cookies available, but other departments might represent hot chocolate, coffee, and such.
With that, are there any questions or comments regarding this resolution or event? If not, we will be voting on this next week. Next, we have resolution 2023 F6-3003. Could we have a chief sponsor read this for us, please?
I'll be reading it again. Resolution 2023 F6-3003, support of creating and adopting open educational resources. Chief sponsor, President Almendras, Director of Representative Somek, and Representative Biapu. Whereas the undergraduate student government advocates for ensuring an affordable cost of attendance for students at the University of Illinois Chicago. And whereas textbooks are one of the most expensive out-of-pocket costs a student can pay for, and whereas in a 2021 study conducted by the U.S. Public Interest Research Group, found that 67% of students surveyed had skipped purchasing their required textbooks. And whereas in a 2023 US PIRG report finds that every dollar invested in OER grants can save students $10 to $20. That grant programs started during the pandemic have already saved students more than $2.5 million. And whereas in 2021, USG provided an additional $10,000 of funding to the Open Textbook Faculty Incentive Program that increased the overall funding from $20,000 to $30,000, which saved students a collective $260,000, presenting a strong return of investment. And whereas funding and support for the Open Textbook Faculty Incentive Program was discontinued despite its proven success in saving students money, then let it be resolved that the undergraduate student government called for the following to address the high textbook costs. 1, the reestablishment of the Open Textbook Faculty Incentive Program. 2, a task force to be created composed of UIC faculty, administrators, USG members, and students to assess the support, adoption, and education of OER. Let it be further resolved that a copy of this resolution shall be sent to the Office of the Chancellor, Office of the Provost, offices of college deans and department heads, the UIC Senate, and other relevant offices and departments for discussion and consideration.
Thank you. I will now open the floor for discussion. Are there any questions or comments regarding this resolution? Yes, Sadie.
Could you want to explain the open faculty incentive program a little bit? I just had never heard of it. I don't know if anyone else is on the same boat.
Yeah, I can answer that. So the Open Textbook Faculty Incentive Program originally had $20,000. Actually, this program, I believe, was also co-started by student government a long time ago. And it had an initial funding of $20,000. And that money was used to provide money. There's like 3 tiers for the funding. I think the top tier was like if you actually create a free textbook, you get like $3,000. And then if you simply just adopt an existing free textbook, you get, I believe, like $2,000. I forgot what the middle tier was. But that's what it was, just to incentivize professors to create or adopt free textbooks in their classrooms.
Any other questions or comments? If not, we will be voting on this resolution next week. We will now move on to our next order of business, which is items for discussion. Our first item for discussion is reserve funds. Treasurer Metoyer, would you please introduce this for us?
Okay, hello everyone. So attached to this email chain, I put a PDF that breaks it down a little bit better as well. So I'd like to follow along because it's a lot to talk about. I'll say that. Not. Okay. So overall, basically, the reserve funds through X amount of years of student governments where they didn't spend their entire budget, all got collected into one massive pile of money. And we have just recently realized that last year, and we came up with the ingenious idea to actually do something productive with that. So there's around $300,000 now in our possession mostly. And we thought of the idea to break that down into 4 years, so around $75,000 for this year and for the next 3 years as well. And we have developed a plan to spend that in what we deem the most fair and responsible way. So I will start getting into that a little bit more. So for the introduction, the budget proposal aims to present a comprehensive financial plan for the reserve funds, aligning it with our organizational goals and objectives. By effectively addressing our requirements, this proposal seeks to ensure the successful implementation and sustainability of the pilot, leading to its long-term success and positive impact. So for the project overview, the proposed approach for the reserve funds involves streamlining the decision-making process, Instead of multiple ideas competing simultaneously, we recommend that the committees collaboratively develop and present one idea to the larger body. This will facilitate a more focused and efficient decision-making process. So yeah, we asked every committee to collectively come up with one idea that they would like to see the $75,000 spent. So does anyone have any questions?
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
If you potentially work with representatives that weren't a part of your committee to come up with an idea, like, would that be okay? Or like, is this kind of process limited to just something?
that's a good question. I mean, based off of this and our earlier discussions, we would like for ideas to try to remain within one committee just for organization purposes. Yeah, so we would like that.
any other questions at this time?
So for the voting mechanism on. To determine the chosen idea, a voting system will be implemented. All members will have the opportunity to participate by casting their vote. Votes will be casted through a first 3 points, second 2 points, third 1 point ring system. The idea receiving the highest number of votes will be selected as the winning proposal. This approach encourages active engagement and ensures the decisions are made collectively, promoting inclusivity within the organization. Voting for your own committee is strictly prohibited. So yeah, we decided that since the committees do not all have the same number of members, the most fair way is that you just can't vote for yourself. So you have to actually pay attention to what everyone else is bringing to the table, so you can't immediately say, well, obviously I'm gonna pick mine. I don't see that. We thought that was the most fair way to do that. So does anyone have any questions on that? Yeah, so
But it also means that, yeah, I agree, but let's say if we have 8 people, the other committee has 5, it means that they will get votes -3 because the only committee cannot vote.
I mean, I think that makes sense, but I feel like, I don't think one committee, since they can't vote for themselves, would all immediately vote for another committee as the same number of people. So I feel like it's not very like team oriented when you're voting, so I don't think that's good. And for the budget summary, the current reserve fund balance is $301,052.13. To ensure its responsible allocation, we propose dividing the amount evenly over the next 4 years, resulting in an annual budget of $75,263.03. This distribution strategy will allow for consistent investment in various initiatives while maintaining financial stability throughout the project duration. So yeah, this is what I said at the beginning. And then monitoring and evaluation. To maintain accountability and effectiveness, the allocated budget for each year should not exceed $75,263.03. This restriction ensures responsible financial management and prevents oversight. Furthermore, it is crucial to consider the long-term impact of the proposed initiative. The chosen project should benefit all students for years to come, rather than focusing solely on by prioritizing initiatives with lasting benefits. We can maximize the positive impact of the reserve funds on the student community. So yeah, the main thing that we all ask is that when you're generating your ideas, they should be lasting here at UIC. It shouldn't only benefit the student from this year or like 1 year after, 1 year after. Since this money has been collected over an extensive amount of time, and that's why it's such a high number, we only think it's right that whatever is spent on can benefit like hopefully like a generation or like multiple years to come along. And in conclusion, the refined budget proposal for the reserve fund encompasses a strategic and responsible financial plan. By focusing on a single idea at a time, implementing a fair voting system, and adhering to budgetary constraints, we can ensure the successful implementation and sustainability of the project. Furthermore, by prioritizing long-term benefits, we maintain a professional and ethical approach to resource allocation. So yeah, that's the whole budget proposal in words, so. Does anyone have any questions on
Yes, Nina.
that? Okay, so it's $75,000 for each year. And the goal is to have one idea, spend the 75,000, however. If it only takes 30,000, then the next idea up, like within the ranking would be a. So it'd be like, if the second place idea was 40,000 and the first one was 30,000, then you would do both.
Yes, Ariman and then Mansi.
Oh, I had a question about voting. Is there compulsion for everyone to vote or people can also abstain from the voting?
I would like to see everyone vote, because I think everyone should definitely have an opinion on all of them. So I think it's most fair, like, whichever one you feel like you like the most, or like, I think.
Mansi?
Yeah, so the question I had was, I know when it comes to the USG funding certain things, like there's certain things we can fund, certain things we cannot fund, like infrastructure, things like that. And I know like the idea last year that was floating around was like making more electrical outlets, or something like that. But would that come under building infrastructure, and like what are some examples of things that we could fund or cannot fund?
Yeah, okay. So everything that we are or not able to fund is like all subject to the dean of students, so their word is everything. Like if they say it's a good to go, then it's good. So I would expect, or I think that like when you guys are generating ideas, you should come check in with me and my committee just to make sure I could at least give a heads up to the dean of students. So they'll be able to give the green light or something, just to make sure that there's no confusion, yeah. So I'll talk to the dean of students whenever ideas do come up, just to make sure it will be.
Yeah, and to further answer that question. So I have been like meeting with the vice chancellor for auxiliary services. And he's been very open about, or multiple people I've been talking to have been open about things like seating on campus and outlet infrastructure in various buildings. These are typically things that already have funds. Looking at the funding guidelines, it said it's says very explicitly that the USG funds cannot fund anything that's already having like funding for. But I've been kind of pushing limits and getting to be a little bit more lenient on that. And so, yeah, again, if there's any sort of project that might have pinned the funding guidelines, please refer to the treasurer.
Any other questions? Or comments? Yes, that's fine.
I would also just like to add that in terms of timeline, this isn't like next week, every committee has to have this grand idea. So we would like for ideas to just be generated throughout this semester, and it's pretty fluid right now. So either by the end of this semester or the beginning of the semester, we plan to start presenting the ideas. And then once we do come to the winning idea, then we would introduce this as a resolution within most likely the middle of the spring semester. So just to give you guys like a little time to know.
Any final questions or comments? If not, you can always reach out to Director Matoy, and we will move on to our next order of business, which is excellency reports. Do we have a report for the advisor? It's not here, so we'll move on to our next report, which is the report to the student trustee. Is there a report for the student trustee?
No, for sure, going tonight, still do, just a quick thank to Rob, it's not here to work hard. The Rob has been the artist for the document, since, the project work. And hence we're not just saying after the work, the building, the six happened to come here, with all of us. So I really do appreciate that for continuing stuff. And I know I mentioned all about some of the last year on my name. This is Matt, who's also another member of my office. I keep bringing more and more every week, so I have a full row of stuff. nonetheless, I hope, all the weeks will go well, and wish you all the best.
Thank you. Are there any questions regarding the report of the student trustee? Fun fact, Matt and Sarah are siblings. Okay. If not, then the report of the student trustee shall be filed. We'll now move on to our next order of business, which is officer reports. May we please have the report of the president?
Actually, before I make my report, Madam Speaker, I motion to suspend the rules and return back to new business. Reason for this is I realized I needed to executive order one of these resolutions. It was the connecting student leaders. First of all, I apologize. Completely forgot that I needed to executive order this just because it's very time sensitive. Given that the event will be on November 9th. And yeah, so I make that.
There's been a motion to suspend the rules and return to new business, resolution 2023 F6 1002. Is there a second? All those in favor, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. Does anyone abstain? If not, then the motion has passed and we will return to resolution 2023 F6 1002. Are there any questions or comments regarding this resolution as it's been executive ordered and will be voted on tonight?
Yeah, just quick comment on this event. Yeah, I believe, Connection Communities has been one of our signature events since we came out of the pandemic. It's always been extremely packed, and it's a great way for all of us as USG members to gauge feedback from RSO leaders. Especially since, first of all, this event is it's on a Thursday, and the following Friday, November 10th, I believe, is the tailgate. So I tend to take that time to kind of promote the tailgate, get them to tell their members to kind of come out to the tailgate. Also, just a good time for us to kind of update them on what we're doing, just hear about them, and overall just get to know people.
Any final questions or comments before we move forward with voting? Oh, yes, Monty.
What time is the event held at? You know.
Check-in starts around 5:15.
Any other questions or comments? If not, we will move forward with voting. All those in favor of adopting resolution 2023 F6 1002, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. Does anyone abstain? If not, then resolution 2023 F6 1002 has passed. We will now return to our order of the agenda, which is officer reports. May we please have the report of the president?
Thank you. So again, I guess this is becoming just like a weekly thing now, where the library is open 24 hours, Monday to Thursday. So again, tell any friends that you know, maybe you're waiting in the Dunkin' Donuts line, just tell the student behind you that the library is open for 24 hours, Monday to Thursday. But this past week, Dr. Assad, Representative Somick, and I met with Sandy DeGroot to discuss OER. Really, the big takeaway here is that the subcommittee for the USG OER Faculty Awards program will start soon. We have several students now in this committee, but on the subcommittee, but please email me if you're interested. Basically, what this program is it was passed in the fall 2021 semester, and we've been kind of like making progress on piloting this program. Last year, we secured funding for it, so this year we're going to start collecting nominations. So basically, what this OER Faculty Award program does is award or recognize professors who use OER. I believe they get a $500 award stipend and maybe like a little like plaque or trophy. But the idea of this again is to incentivize professors and recognize them for using OER. And also last week, I met with Kaylee Holmgreen, who's the legislative assistant in Senator Durbin's office. Again, just to introduce our priorities on free textbooks, food insecurity, and mental health. Also this past week, we've been kind of working on a statement to support students who've been affected by conflicts overseas and violence caused by hate with Representative Sawa, Representative Yusuf, and Director Belli. We were not able to get this meeting, but we intend to introduce it this week after we meet as final time as a group. Last week as well, attended the State University address and was able to network with university administrators to advance our student interest. And actually met with someone to advance our OER initiatives. So in regards to free textbooks, definitely making huge progress in that. Future meetings, so this week I have a meeting with provost and I've started meetings with our various RSO leaders to update them on things that we've been doing here in student government and collect more feedback on what we should be doing.
Thank you. Are there any questions regarding the report of the president? If not, then the report of the president shall be filed. Next, we have the report of the vice
Hi, everyone. Yeah, just as the last call, USG commission application or for commissioner are due tonight. So get those last minute applications out if you are interested in that. Today, Mr. Trustee Mohammed Haq was very gracious to coordinate the availability of everyone. For us to do our first shared governance board meeting of the semester, and that's just basically all like the different governing bodies that UIC met and just sort of collaborated, like the health professionals councils and grad student council. So that was really good. I learned a lot about their priorities and where we can collaborate. And just a reminder about homecoming, be sure to come out Friday, November 10th. We still need some more people to help organize the events and coordinate materials. So just reach out to Director Tijal or myself if you're able to serve on the ad hoc committee for the homecoming tailgate. Communicating with Treasurer Matoy on planning the expense behind USG part of the tailgate. Working on the administrative forms with the cupcake truck, and just working with the UIC business office to make sure everything's good to go. More supplies will be ordered this week, and if you have any last minute suggestions, please reach out to Tijal, Latoya, or myself in the next couple of days. Attended the board meeting last Friday, communicated with Dr. Raphael on the Okanagan Charter, able to get some good answers to questions you guys had. And then future meetings, meeting with Provost Talley on Tuesday, and then attending faculty awards on Wednesday. Now you look at the question.
Thank you. Are there any questions regarding the report of the vice president? If not, then the report shall be filed. Next, we have the report of the treasurer.
Hello, everyone. I hope you guys had a great weekend. So for me, I finalized the details for the tent rental and the students, so we should be all good to go with that. I met with Director John Gupta and discussed the connecting student leaders event. So for that, I started communicating with Hawkeye's Bar and Grill, sent me the catering menu. We talked about pricing, logistics for the event. Also met with Director Asasa for the USG coffee, cocoa, cookies, and career event. We discussed the allocation amount of what items we would like to purchase. I officially assigned committee roles within the treasury, so my committee be ready to start doing this work. And then I talked to Director Dana Alamani about purchasing cameras for meetings. And for today's catering, there will be hamburgers, barbecue chicken halal sandwiches, veggie burgers, taco salad bar, veggie hummus platter, and brownies and biscuits. And then feel free to contact me if you need any help with that. And then you'll learn that.
Thank you. Are there any questions regarding the report of the treasurer? If not, then the report shall be filed. Next, we have the report of the speaker. Okay, happy GBM6, everyone. I'm continuing to meet with all of your representatives individually. I'd like to thank the people who I've met with already for sharing your thoughts with me. It's super helpful in improving the work that we do as a board and just improving the way USG functions as a whole. So if there's any way in which we can help you in that manner, please do not hesitate to bring that up to me. As a reminder, these meetings are mandatory for all representatives to participate in to be in good standing. So if you haven't signed up for one already via the link that I sent out 4 weeks ago, please make sure you do so. Next, we are organizing a USG Halloween social on Halloween day. So, it'll be Tuesday, 4 to 6 p.m. Next week, in the inner circle, it'll be a potluck situation. So, kind of an informal social. We didn't pass a resolution or anything, but, we thought it'd be a great way for reps to get to know each other, reps any board, everyone to get to know each other, wear your costumes. We have a lot of activities planned, both within your committees and individually. I will be bringing sweet treats if that's enough motivation for you all. And we will send a more detailed itinerary to come. But DIC is also holding a tabling event on that day. So we will have a full agenda for you all. I attended an student success meeting. Thank you, Asa, for having me. I will drop in on other committees in the office if I'm there. I dropped in on DIC today, actually. So it's great seeing the work that you guys are all doing. Sorry. I'm also working with interim speaker Modesty and representatives Nathan Sajal and Danushree to plan the USG social and various other events. If you're interested in helping out or learning more, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. And I'm also continuing to onboard interim speaker Modesty, who will be hosting or leading our next GBM, which is GBM 7. Yay. So if you have resolutions to be sent in or items for discussion, please include her in your emails, as well as when you're submitting your reports. Last but not least, always feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns. Are there any questions regarding my report? If not, then the report of the speaker shall be filed. Next, we have the report of the chief of staff.
Hello, everyone. Happy GBM 6. Beginning week 10. That's pretty crazy to say. Hope everyone's midterms are over. Really hope so. And it's been a pretty long season of midterms, but yeah, overall, getting into the business. So, held a couple check-ins this week. First with Director of Campus Life, Dejal. We discussed the upcoming USG Food Drive, Connected Student Leaders event, and the tailgate. Also held a check-in with Director of Student Success, Asa. We discussed recent meetings with administrators, the upcoming coffee, cocoa, cookies, and career events. I said that right. And reinstating the USG Open Educational Resources Initiative. And also, I've been discussing with Treasurer Matthew Cavalles and Speaker of the House, Michelle, and we realized that a large complication with our events is securing room reservations with due time because, room reservations in the Student Center at least fill up months in advance. And we don't want this to force you all to prematurely introduce your resolutions just so you could get the room reservation. So what we're thinking is we're gonna introduce a resolution that would allocate funds for room reservation. So what this means is when you come up with an idea for an event, but you don't have all the logistics planned, but you need to secure a room to ensure that the event happens, there will be an allocation for it. So you will be able to secure the room before passing the actual resolution for the event. We'll talk more about this. I believe we'll be introducing a resolution next week, but just to clear up any confusion, you can cancel reservations. So say our event doesn't work out, you can't cancel it and get the refund back. But we'll be talking about this more next week, just a way for us to make things a little bit easier. Additionally, I'm going to be dropping in on various committee meetings as my availability permits. So, don't be alarmed. I'm just coming to sit in and introduce myself and hear what you all are talking about. And lastly, we held the weekly executive board meeting last week. And on that note, I yield my time for questions.
Are there any questions regarding the report of the chief of staff? If not, then the report shall be filed. Next, we have the report of the diversity and inclusion.
Hi everyone, happy Monday. So this week, I hope also for how to make a great day and provide a commit. Basically, I have the promotion and I will have for attendees. The events will hold tomorrow, 3 p.m. to Yeah, actually, in support for this year, I will send a link that you can register for the event. I think it's very important for us to attend because, Mr. President is very experienced person. He had multiple events and speaks at very, respectful university. So I highly recommend that you guys go attend. I will be there. For that, I communicated with Kelly McNaught and Director of Public Affairs, Serena, helped me to use social media for promotion. I have meeting and work on the resolution for the actual letter on face with President Almeida, Representative Saba, and Representative. We are still working on that. I attended USG board meeting. I had Monday and Friday meeting with diversity and inclusion network. And the last part, diversity and inclusion internal coalition. I would like to because they also don't know yet. So ambassador of the Arab American Culture Center is Saba Ali. Ambassador of the Research and Asian American Culture Center is Jeff Patel. Ambassador of the Black Culture Center is TJ Semtime and Jacob Magic Salon. Ambassador of the Disabled Culture Center is Sajal Supla. Ambassador of the Rafael Simpson, which is Latina Culture Center is Jordan Pablo. Ambassador of the Gender and Sexuality Center is Madison. Ambassador of the Women's Research Society Center is Sajal Supla. And the Deputy Chair is Jordan Pablo. I'm open to any questions, also for diversity and inclusion in Halloween. Kevin and like yourself, so you're all welcome to house us if you want to. We will start at 2:30 on Tuesday until 2 p.m. for packaging. We will also do at the USG office 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Monday before meeting. If you would like to help, you can communicate with me or and I will drop the registration and your argument. Thank you.
Are there any questions regarding the report of the diversity and inclusion chair? If not, then the report shall be filed. Next, we have the report of the legislative affairs.
It's okay, I don't need this. All right, hi everyone, happy meeting 6, so I'll keep this short. As Matthew mentioned, me, Representative Flores, and President Almeida met with Senator Durbin's DC staffer for education. So we talked about mental health, OER, and food insecurity. We're looking into seeing if they're interested in sponsoring mental health legislation in the Senate. And we're hoping to continue the conversation after she gets more information and talks to people in the office. We also had our third LAC meeting, so I've been able to assign everyone kind of an agenda item to focus on from Student Bill of Rights to food insecurity. So getting updates on that. Our meetings are 6 to 7 p.m. on Wednesdays in the office if anyone would like to join. Nick, who is part of SMBOT and SLCE, and I met with FSL and CSI directors today. So our large scale civic engagement initiative is to work with them to create not a competition, but to use the events that they already have and use that as a platform to promote civic engagement, to providing QR codes as well as tabling at these events that we're allowed to be at. So with that, we were able to kind of get a feel for how FSL and CSI feel about it, and they're definitely interested. And we're going to work with the student member of the trustee's office as well as USG to continue like hashing out the details of it and hopefully meet with them one more time before Thanksgiving break. So when we come back for the next semester, it can all be set and we can kind of dive right into it. And then upcoming things, I have a meeting with SLCE on Wednesday. We're going to have our next LAC meeting also on Wednesday. And then we're going to continue to outreach to different legislative offices.
Thank you. Are there any questions regarding the report of the legislative affairs? If not, then the report shall be filed. Next, we have the report of the public affairs chair. Same as Ashley. We wish her speedy recovery, but we see a little.
Hello, everybody. Happy GM6. I'll be doing a report with Zaina today. So Zaina finalized the merch design. She's gonna be sending out a form tonight or tomorrow to see like what sizes and what preferences you want. Please make sure to fill it out, so you get your merch. Each member will receive one polo, one zip up or crew neck, and also a water bottle or a hat. Ooh. She's going to meet with me pretty soon. Unfortunately, she was sick today. So we're gonna meet pretty soon to discuss our options for the camera we want to buy for USG. So hopefully we get that done sometime this week, tentatively on Thursday. PEC also started working on the USG November newsletter, which is going to be released on November 1st. And she also attended the weekly e-board meeting. And if you have any more questions or concerns or anything you want to ask Zaina, make sure to email her.
Yes, please reach out directly to Zaina if you have any questions or comments on her report. And with that, her report shall be filed. Next, we have the report of the Student Success Chair.
Hi, everyone. So last week I met with Treasurer Kovais to discuss funding a career workshop event. I met with the head of assessment and scholarly communications of the UIC Library, Sandy the Group, with President Almendros and Representative Somick. We discussed Open Access Week, and today there was a presentation that talked about a publishing repository that UIC uses to hold such material. So we're hoping to use that in some way moving forward. I also met with the Assistant Director of Career Development and Internships to plan the coffee, cocoa, cookies, and career event. What this essentially does, it allows students to peruse the offerings of multiple USC departments and offices and acts as a gateway for students to learn more about how they can develop their careers. I sat in on the LAC meeting with Director Parma. SSC met last Thursday. We had a fun Robert's Rule activity with Speaker Michelle. Thank you, Michelle, for coming. And I'm excited to say the deputy of SEC is. And as always, if you have any questions or want to be involved in something, just email me. Thank you.
Are there any questions regarding the report of the Student Success Chair? If not, then the report shall be filed. Last but not least, we have the report of the campus life chair.
Hi everyone, welcome to week 10. So starting off, I'm Evan Catherine, Director of Partnership Development, to talk about the USG Partnership Program. I met with Treasurer Matthew Calabar to talk about the upcoming Connecting Fluency events in options and budget. I spoke with our President Patty about creating connections at the on-campus housing and establishing a centralized structure where things can work the housing concern. I met with Carol, the Director of the Health Education, to discuss food drive ideas and how we can work together to food drive of the semester is successful. So the semester's food drive is being planned by Campus Community Life, and more information will be released in the upcoming CBM. I had my second with Fantastic to review the Campus Community progress. I attended the executive board meeting and also had campus committee meeting with the representative. Also attended the staff health innovation committee seminar. You can email me with any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions regarding the report of the campus life chair? If not, then the report shall be filed. We now move on to our next order of business, which is announcements. Are there any announcements? Yes.
Forgot to mention it, in my report, I guess now that it's kind of like end of business day. So I'm thinking tomorrow from like maybe 2 to 5 p.m. I'll be in the library just to do homework and stuff. So I want to invite everyone here to come join me in this period between 2 to 5 p.m. Just to, I want to get to know everyone here. So if you're free, I'll text more details in the group chat about it. But yeah, aside from getting to know you all, I can also provide a historical context on USG and answer your guys' questions about things we do here in student government and things like that. But I also used to work as a writing tutor, so I can also look into your resumes and any essays that you might be writing. This week I can take a look at that as well during this time. I don't really mind. And I also actually, yeah, that's it. So again, tomorrow, Tuesday, from 2 to 5, somewhere in the library, I'll send a message. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other announcements? Yes, Megan.
USC Radio is having our annual DJ battle on Thursday, October 26th. It starts at 6 p.m. and you guys come check it out. Support student DJs. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be shared. And yeah, you can check out at USC Radio and some more information.
Thank you. you. Any other announcements? Yes, Nancy.
Home Club has their, movie watching discussion also at 6 p.m. on Thursday.
Oh, no.
Well. Elections up there, so it's good. And then also. We're watching Train to Busan. Yeah, and then on Friday, so I think like the Chancellor's Committee, but also the GSC, they have like a bunch of events this month. But one of those bigger events is happening this Friday from like 6 till later in the evening. It's called the Word Ball. Pretty cool, if you guys want to go.
Any other announcements? Yes.
One of my past teachers is living and study abroad to Tokyo in the summer, and he just asked me to like spread the word. If that's interesting to anyone, I'll just reply to the USG email and you can check it out if you're interested. There's an info section, I think, in my.
Any other announcements? Clear your schedules for Halloween for the 6 p.m. I want to see all of you there with your costumes. We'll do a competition for the committees. Whichever committee has the most people dressed up will get a little something. So show up and show out. Okay, any other announcements? If not, we'll move on to our next order of business, which is adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I motion.
Is there a second? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. Does anyone abstain? If not, the meeting is now 7:09 p.m.